about having separate dialogues because there were, I think there are a lot of dialogues already going on in dialogue. So to have another in GFAR would be burdensome. Um, so I just wanted to get your ideas of what you think might be how we could contribute to the summit. I think the idea of there seems to be a lot of appreciation for Ismahani's suggestion for having engagement in the science days, and so I think that would be a good approach to take. But I just want to really, it's just an open conversation to see what you think and what you would recommend and how it should be approached.
Well, Dr. Matthew, when Asmahan was at ICBA, ICBA is a member in AARINENA. So we were in contact with her, and she knows actually all the problems, all the needs, what's going on, the food security issue, the food systems issue over the world, and how things are going in everywhere. And I think she was an excellent selection for the scientific chair. So for this reason, I would say we have to tackle actually hot issues in the area of science, technology, move forward in these areas, because we have actually a problem in many countries in the world, especially those poor countries, where the adoption of technology, the innovation, going up to startups and spin-offs are very minimal. And at the same time, there are a lot of research projects going in those regions, but by the end, to which extent we are benefiting from this research project, what is the quality of the research, and is this research getting to the commercialization and getting to solving a problem, building capacities, and moving forward. So last year, I spent about 9 months working for the IDRC in Canada, where we were working on the what's so-called Research Quality Plus, where we're assessing the quality of the research done by the IDRC in different countries to see really is there the quality of this research for the life of the people, for the women involvement, for the gender issue, for. So when I went through your proposal, actually, I was looking to 3 different things at the same time. First of all, we have to focus on the small farmers, because these are making a big contribution in the agriculture, but they have no potential to advance themselves as the large scale farmers who can get the technology, who can get the consultation, who could move the machines, who could do all of these things, and also they can do the feasibility study for their work, etc. But those ones actually, but these are a big part of in the world. So this should be a major this so we have to deal with those ones. At the same time, in is the big part of the diversity issue. We are going who are still holding the species. Those are the ones who species which are used in those areas. They are the ones who are still doing that kind of work, and they are not the ones who are using genetically modified seeds, or these are the ones who are working with other large-scale seeds which are imported from. They have these seeds in the way nobody is helping them. Nobody helping them in order to improve the quality they have in their hands in order situation, which I would see put a lot of focus on it. Also, those people, a big part crop, the or the harvest, or the post-harvest, losing at harvesting. They are losing. They are losing in shipping. They are losing in everywhere. So by the end, I would see 30 minimum of what they are producing. So 5%, 20, I think will help those people. They are making a food, and they are a difficult situation in this case. When I was for the IDRs, many projects uh, that are dealing with involvement of women, involvement of come to those people, moving ahead, schools, and they were making school farming where farms for the gardens of the schools are producing, and they are feeding the children of the schools. So that's also at the same thing. I went through one of the projects, which I think is very important, where they using the nanotechnology, what's so called the hexanal, where they were spraying it in different fruity crops, and this could retain the fruits in the trees, decrease the fruit drop, increase the shelf life of the fruits when they are using it later on, are at least saving a lot of the post-harvest loss in this case. So it depends if, I mean, if our focus is going to be through this package, which you are handling, are we just going to focus on the small holding farmers? Are we going to focus on those kind of people? Because if we are moving to the large scale people, I mean, there's a big approach, and it's a totally different approach. And that's the case in Jordan, that's the case in the US, that's the case in everywhere. But if we look to the poor countries, if we look to the third world countries, a huge number of their farmers, they are small scale farmers. They are doing that kind of work, but they are making life out of that. If, I'm sure you have been to Egypt, and if you go to the farmers in the villages and those people in Egypt, you would see really a prototype that you should work with, and in order to help them. At the same time, also, when I go to the networking, when I go to the platforming, I was one of the projects which I was evaluating, they called it Bashair. Bashair, it was a project supported by the IDRC, and it was in Egypt. So what they were doing a kind of networking awareness system, and they were using even SMS, they were using radio programs in order to get to the farmers who are involved with them in the same project. So if they are going to talk about the weather, the message will be there. If they are going to talk about marketing, the message is going to be there. If they are going to talk about disease problems, the message is getting to them there at the same time. So, I mean, in these things, we should focus on a dialogue, which in AARINENA, I would guarantee you, I will be with you to arrange the dialogue, which we choose to also, I can host that dialogue with you. I can even communicate with the people who will be involved with the dialogue. And then when we make the groups, I can work with you in order to arrange these groups. But I think we should think what are the topics that are, as you see, what are these topics which would be the best topics in order to go through them, because now also the underutilized crops, they are a big part of the situation. Now we have a good number of crops that are really food crops, not utilized very well by the people. Still they are there, they are part of the biodiversity. We can improve them, we can make them cash crops in the hands of the people. But the only problem is that all of what we are saying here, it's in the hand of the small farmers who really need the help, because they could help themselves, but they are not in the position actually to help themselves in the right manner. But at the same time, I would say that policymakers, if they are convinced, they could go ahead with us, and they can go with us even in the dialogue, because we have been in some activities where actually the policymakers, they support once you get to the point to convince them. Most countries now, they are working for the SDGs, and they would like to achieve something for in this directions, because everybody go with SDG 1, SDG 2, how to get also women involvement, how to get youth involvement, how to get to the innovation, how. But still, I mean, we should manage with them how to do that. So I will be at your disposal to really help in any of the ideas you would like to reach, where we can arrange for a dialogue in this direction.
Well, I'm listening to you. It sounds like there's a lot of knowledge out there, but it just hasn't been maybe presented as a body, or as a strongly enough. And I'm wondering, would a dialogue add more to the discussion, or, as one suggestion was, just a paper with a lot of these ideas that you've mentioned, which apparently have a lot of research, and already have a lot of research behind them. And then this maybe share that paper around GFAR with the steering committee, and come up with a solid paper that then becomes the GFAR position for, I'm just throwing out an idea, so this may not make sense, but then becomes the GFAR position for the Food System Summit. So as people are engaged in dialogues, or in whatever into the summit, they would GFAR position based on this scientific paper that we would put together. I'm wondering whether to go directly to a scientific paper, whether the dialogue at this stage would add much to the discussion, and whether whether the work that goes into the dialogue could be maybe better put into a scientific paper. I don't know. Is that
It's just,
make sense?
I mean, with the, I mean, are you going to cover a huge area of countries, or are you going to focus on certain area in the world? This is actually what I would say. I mean, do you want to cover like the whole spectrum?
Well, I think the idea would be to cover the whole spectrum, but with this focus on the small farmer,
Okay.
as you mentioned,
Then,
this
then what?
contribution.
Yeah, what I would see the paper would be a output of the dialogue.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like we split ourselves to certain topics which are going to be a major part of the paper, and then we do the dialogue. The dialogue will give us, we will collect the required information from the targeted people, and from, I would not say the stakeholders, but actually from, for each topic, from the people who are involved with that. And there are experts be involved with us in the dialogue. I mean, we can, if now you say we want to focus on the post-harvest loss as one item, yes, we can get people who would share us with the dialogue in this. We can get expert people from ICARDA, from the region. We can get people who would be with us, and they can really give us the exact situation. They are fully working in this area. If we go to the biodiversity issue, how to utilize the biodiversity, how to utilize the underutilized species, etc. Yes, we can collect a very good piece of work where we can go parallel. We are working on the scientific paper, but at the same time, we do the dialogue. The information we are getting from the dialogue, we insert it everywhere in that paper. And then by the end, we will be having that scientific paper based on the, not only from literature review, but based also on from people whom we have the dialogue with them at the same time.
Uh, okay, two questions. Probably should hire a consultant who can bring this scientific paper together. And so I would be looking to you and to others to recommend someone who would be a good candidate for that work. And then I talked to AARINENA,
Yes.
and they were not enthusiastic about a dialogue. So it may be a bit uneven in terms of, who's going to do a dialogue and some who may not. Apparently in the Asia region, they seem to be very engaged already in dialogues. And so they felt like they did not want another one. But I think that could still be open. I mean, they could go decide on their own, but then if the other areas would like to go with the dialogue and contribute to the scientific paper, I think a body could contribite to the scientific paper as well, but not if they don't want to have a dialogue, they don't have to. But it might be, the coverage by the dialogues might be uneven, but I'm not really sure that that's a problem if other regions would like to do that.
Well, yeah, that's right, because usually, I mean, these are the hot topics in the whole world, because that's what people everywhere are doing. I mean, today, if you go to the post-harvest, you go everywhere, there are people talking about this subject. If you go to the biodiversity, there are people really talking about this everywhere. So, I mean, you can really, I mean, consult with those people about the dialogue, and I don't know if you get some feedback from them or not. So that would be one way. And the other way, I mean, if you are going to get somebody or a consultant to do the work, who would do the, I mean, is that the consultant would do the paper?
I think that would be the idea, is to pull the paper together
Uh, to
and
put the
then
paper together. Okay.
and then or build the framework for the paper as these dialogues to enhance the paper and strengthen it in the various areas that we've been talking about, the biodiversity and post-harvest.
Do you think that consultant would be like a freelancer or belong to one of those organizations like ICARD, like those organizations? Because there are some freelancers who would work and do that, and at the same time, people in ICARD and ICBA and APARI and there are some experts who would do that paper, and they have done a lot of work in that area. So, I mean, what would you think?
I would go either way. There's value in having someone within those institutions do it, because they're very familiar with the work and they're already connected to people. If they have the time to dedicate, that is only the issue if the person is available to, take away from their regular duties in order to do
This
the work.
case,
But I think it has advantages.
in this case, you would put a TOR for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there would be a TOR for a consultant to do a paper on so and so and so and so, and then everything will be put in the TOR. And is that consultant will manage the dialogue, or still you will manage the dialogue and he will just get the output or the outcomes of the dialogues?
Um, I think if they get into I think they would participate in the dialogues, but I manage the dialogues because it might be a distraction from
That's right.
their primary focus. It might be too large a task items at the same time.
And if that person is go to do that paper, what is the time frame in this case?
Well, we need to have something by, I think by June, probably before there's the pre-summit that being held in Rome, and probably to that and being enough into the task.
What's going to be the time frame for the dialogues now? Because I read here one of the dialogues would be March to April. March to April, that's already over. So
Well, that's another problem. The clock is, I guess at any time it's a contribution, but the sooner the better. So, if we could see, if it could still be done in April, it would be valuable. That would be better, but May, I mean, it can be done at a later time.
we're going to make more than one dialogue in this case, or just we make one dialogue and then we have the TOR, the person will work on the scientific paper and the dialogue will go. The person will be there for the dialogue to hear what the people are doing. We will make a report for the dialogue and he will utilize the outcomes of the dialogue. But I mean, he would start soon to work on the paper, because when is the paper going to be presented? What's the date of the presenting the paper?
Well,
As a-
we talked about the scientific days at FAO, and then there's also the scientific committee that's being involved with the scientific committee of the UN Food System Summit. So I think if that paper could be ready for the science days that are going to be held in, I don't know if we have
when GFAR should turn that scientific paper in, when are going to turn it in?
the science days are 8 and 9 July, and the pre-summit meeting is 19-20 July. So it would be to be presented probably at the science days, I think.
I know,
Would
but
be a good-
like GFAR steering committee would have that paper in hand, like by the end of June. Is that right?
Well, well, you say in hand, whether it would be a finalized paper, or I guess because there would be still the steering committee should be looking at it earlier in order to have the comments from the different regions and the different people go into it before it's finalized, but finalized by the end of June.
It's like what I see now, the task for the consultant would be not more than 2 months to get this job done. I mean, if this job starts the very beginning of April, let's say April 1st, then by May 31, the consultant should turn in that paper. It's like 2 months
Yeah,
duty. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, well, I think what we should do now, I don't think in this case we can make like one dialogue. Well, because time is getting also, time is very short now. Today it's the 18th of March.
Right.
So if we are going to prepare for a dialogue and we have to assign who are the people who will join the dialogue, and then they have themselves ready to talk in the dialogue, and then the dialogue will be there. I mean, it's time is getting pretty fast. And also, in the and also in the Muslim, by April, we will be having Ramadan.
Uh,
And
right.
usually in the month of Ramadan, I mean, we get people working, but most of them, it's time where you didn't get a lot of work done by the people in Ramadan.
Yeah.
So what I would see, Dr. Matthews, is to go this way. First, I would see within a week, maximum 10 days, let us have the TOR for the consultant. And I think there are three places where we have to, we will ask for the, to get people to apply for this as consultant, but freelancers would be one choice. And somebody, he could maybe get this job done. And also ICARDA, they might have some people, but when you send to ICARDA, it should go to the ICARDA office, to ICARDA people. It will take some time sometimes in order to go to that things. And if they are going to announce it, if AARINENA is going to announce it, also sometimes we are in a rush in order to get the paper ready, and then you are going to have it on time. So let us prepare the TOR and let us work together on, I think, do we need to make more than one dialogue during this period?
I I don't think it's I mean, would you think of your dialogue as a global dialogue, or are you thinking of approaching just the region?
Well, I mean, if we are going to make a dialogue, it should be a GFAR dialogue.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, if it's AARINENA, I would go for my region because I am in the NENA region. So, but is that enough for region?
Well, I was just thinking that there may be others who want to do a dialogue. Say if they want to do one in all part of GFAR, but doing them by region. So maybe Latin
Then,
America might want to have a dialogue.
then we get one title for the dialogue, and you can have it in Asia, in the NENA region, and in other places, but we might have it in 1 week. Like today in NENA region, AARINENA will host it, we will arrange it, we will do it, and we will prepare for it in the NENA region, and I will get the people. But we should get what are the topics to be addressed in this dialogue. So I will say, I can get an expert in this, get the dialogue done, get the report. We will have it recorded as we are doing now. So also we can get back to it and go through the discussion and get the points which we need. But at the same time, we'll make a report from, if it's in the NENA region, I will get the job done from my part. I will even do the report and send it to you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the other day, if it's going to be under APARI or it's going to be in Asia, then you would do it. And maybe even myself, and as you are doing it, I can join that dialogue in order to, I'm not going to be an observer, but just to see what the people are going to talk about. Then this will enrich our information. You do it somewhere else also, I will join it with you because that's going to help us in order. But that consultant will be with us in all of those things, but at the same time, he or she is writing the paper on the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't think that the dialogues would be exclusive. I mean, anyone could join, but I think that the regions may want to have the facility and invite speakers and so forth. So yeah, definitely the other regions should be invited, and I think that your participation would be most welcome. And as a person, ready to bring this all together, I think that would help. Yes.
You know, a lady, she's now in Canada. She prepared the strategy for AARINENA. I forget her name now, but I can get her name back. I think her name is Iman.
Yes. Yeah. She was working for GFAR before. Yes.
Yeah, she worked for GFAR before. I don't know to which extent she could do this paper. Also in Jordan, I know a freelancer. He's excellent in doing reports and getting the paper ready, because that guy, he has been involved with a lot of studies and something like that. So by the time you get the TOR, I can also communicate with him. We can communicate with Iman if you would like. I don't know to which extent Iman could handle such kind of paper on that precise time, because time is now a major factor.
Yeah.
But also, if you decide on the dialogue, just let us put a agenda for the dialogue. Let's get agenda for the dialogue. Then if we put the agenda of the dialogue, then for the NENA region, I will go ahead and assign who are going to speakers, and I will communicate with the people who would attend the dialogue. And we will make it like 3 hours, three hours dialogue. And I don't know, in your proposal, you wrote that we might break down to groups, but I think now it's not easy to break down to groups. I think let us just make it people do presentation, and we get the information from them, and the people who are sharing could get for discussion. Like we can put 30 minutes discussion by the end of each dialogue, and at least we can collect the information from those people in this short time, because we don't have enough time to do more than one dialogue in each region, and then in each dialogue we can break down to groups. I mean, the way you think of it.
Well, I think you have to, at this point, I think you have to run it as you see most feasible, given our time frame. The UN has suggested that we have a particular approach, but it's open. I mean, we make the decision of how we want to manage the dialogue. And if you feel that's the best approach, let's take it. Let's go with that.
It's just a matter, Dr. Matthew, because now we are making everything online.
Right.
So if I have 30 people, then I'm going to break them to groups. Then I have to make a group, online group for this and an online group for this, and then get things together. It's not like when we are in a hotel or we are in a place where we just break to groups and then we get back to each other at the same time, and somebody will present, and we are doing everything now in this way. So let us think, the way we make it simple in order to get things done on time. This is all what I just see,
Yes, yeah. Well, I think that we have to be practical as well, so. Okay.
So I would see within a few days, we should get the TOR done.
Yeah.
So we go through it together. I will read it with you and see if we have some comments, and then we just send it to the different places to get a consultant, because this is the urgent thing. At the same time, we work on the dialogue. For the NENA region, there will be no problem. I can manage it very well. I have the people, and I know the people here, and if I get the agenda for it today, then I will just go to spread the message, contact the people, get who is going to share, and who is going. I know people who is different subjects. Like if it's post-harvest, I know somebody to talk about that. If it's in biodiversity, I know somebody to talk it. I have people from ICARDA, people from ICBA, people from different places. I can manage that.
Okay.
And I think APARI is a good choice to manage Asia.
They might not do it in terms of having a dialogue. They didn't, because I talked and they involved in other dialogues already set up levels.
Well, I mean, if dialogue for them is not the right, have it as a workshop. I mean, we can.
Well, and when doing it, then they may set up something. So
I don't know, but I mean, it's.
but if we,
I'm
I mean, if we pull something together from your region, and I have conversations tomorrow and Monday with people, and see where everyone stands. We get a couple of dialogues, 2, 3, maybe 4 dialogues going around the world.
That would be good. That would be good.
And then then we start pulling this paper together. I think it would all.
Yes, because what I would really love to see, I would love to see people from India, people from Nepal, people from those countries, because when I was evaluating for the IDRC, actually there are excellent examples and the projects in these countries, which represent the small farmers, represent the woman involvement, with the youth involvement, the food security issues. I mean, these countries really, they represent the thing which we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk to a party and encourage their and see what you could do to how they would want to be engaged. Maybe talking to Ravi and see if if he wants to have a dialogue, but he was not enthusiastic.
Well, why don't you prepare an email that we are going to make it this way? We are going to make one in Asia, and please, we need APARI to be the umbrella of this. One in the NENA region, and ARINENA will be the umbrella, and one in that place. So I think they would go with us by the end.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as I finish my conversations,
Okay.
then I'll so probably by maybe even I could prepare something over the weekend. I have discussions with Farah on Friday and with Faragro tomorrow. So
I mean, if Farah is going to make one in Africa, and ARINENA for the NENA region, I think we can get at least 3 going on. I don't think there will be a problem to do the 3. And frankly speaking, if we do 3, we will get all the information. Most of the things are similar. I mean, it's almost the same. It's the problems with the small farmers is the same. The problem, everything is almost the same. So we will get a lot of things even repeated from here and here at the same time. So let us go ahead and do it. And I think the dialogue is excellent, but the most important thing is the one who is going to prepare the paper.
Yeah.
Because even if we don't do the dialogue, we can get the paper done.
Yeah. Okay, I will prepare a first draft of the TORs, and then look to you to enhance it and fix it up.
Okay, at ARINENA we are ready. I mean, we can go ahead right away. By the time we get the TOR, I will contact the people, and by the time we get the agenda of the dialogue, I can contact the people and get the speakers and for that, and I get back to you.
Okay.
Well, but good. I apologize for doing the meeting this time, Next time I have to manage, we can do it 4 p.m., 6 p.m. in Jordan time, which will be 8, 10 for you in Florida.
Oh, no problem.
Well,
No,
thank you.
It's part of the job, I feel like. Sometimes I have to get up early.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Dr.
Okay,
Shiva.
have a nice day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. اوكي اسراء، الله يعطيك العافيه.
الله يعافيك دكتور عادل معنا، بس مش عارفة إذا النت عنده ضابط.
نقدر نحكي مع دكتور عادل؟ قدرت تحكي تدخل معنا؟ دكتور عادل ما اظن والله. يا خلاص يا اسراء.
خلص
طيب
معنا.
خلاص ابعثي له مسج على الواتساب انه احنا التقينا. وهي ما مسجل الكلام
نعم.
عندك مزبوط؟
دكتور عادل معنا.
دكتور عادل معنا انت؟
الو. نعم
دكتور
نعم
عادل
نعم.
يا مرحبا، الله يحييك يا هلا.
الحمد لله، كيف صحتك؟
الله يسعدك.
والله
احنا خلصنا
مشكله كهرباء. نعم سمعت جزء من الحديث لكن
الله
منقطع،
يسلمك.
الانترنت يدخل يخرج جزء كبير
الله
من الحديث
يسلمك.
اللي هو الموضوع بتاع
انا بقدر الخص لك يعني اللي صار، النقاش احنا
نعم.
ناقشنا معه البروبوزل اللي بعثها.
نعم.
واتفقنا معه انه بيعمل TOR لكونسلتنت يقدم بيبر يجهزها قبل الفود سمت.
نعم.
وعلى هامش الموضوع هذا ينعمل ديالوج واحد. الديالوج واحد يكون في النينا ريجن، واحد يكون في الفارا بافريقيا، وواحد بيكون في ايشيا. بحكي افاري ممكن يعملوا، لكن بيقول ما حسيتهم شويه انت سياستك معي في الحديث. فاحنا الان كارينينا قلت له احنا جاهزين. انا مجرد ما عملت TOR انا اي نو هاو تو سبريد ذا TOR، وفي ناس كمان ممكن احكي معهم مباشره، ممكن يساعدوا في تجهيز البيبر، ياخذوا الكونسلتنسي. وايضا احنا كارينينا جاهزين نحضر الديالوج معه بكافه النواحي، والسبيكرز انا بدبرهم ما عندي مشكله، والاتنديز والبارتيسيبانتس كمان سهل علينا نجهزهم. فان شاء الله امورنا بالنسبه من احنا كارينا ما عندنا مشكله.
تمام
ان شاء الله. واحنا
والموعد
جاهزين.
امتى الموعد؟
نعم
مبدئيا
الموعد
نعم
لسه بعده ما حددوا. بده الان يعمل TOR وبده يجهز الاجنده على اساس احنا بنرتب. فهي راح تكون sometime in April or May، يعني راح تكون خلال شهر 4 او شهر 5 يعني بالنسبه للديالوج. بس بالنسبه للكونسلتنت اللي بده يعمل هو بده يجهز TOR للكونسلتنت، لانه الديالوج بده يكون يجمع معلومات ايضا للبيبر اللي بده يقدمها للفود سمت. فTOR حكى انه خلال هذا الاسبوع يعمل TOR ويبعث لنا اياه على اساس احنا نساهم في نوديها لاكسبيرت يقدر يكون كونسلتنت في هذا المجال.
تمام
ان شاء الله. احنا بالنسبه ليوم الاثنين اللي هي الورشه تبع النجلكتد كرابس او نجلكتد، احنا ان شاء الله جاهزين. واذا في عندك اسماء، بس العراق امبارح اعتذروا
العراق. نعم
اعتذروا العراق. فما بعرف تحب نجيب حدا غيرهم ولا نمشي؟
والله ممكن لو في حدا من لبنان بالذات، في حدا مثلا.
والله بنقدر نتواصل مع الدكتور شو اسمه الدكتور اللي معنا في الزيتون يا اسراء؟
ميلاد.
دكتور ميلاد. فانا اليوم بنعمل الان مباشره بعد لقائنا هذا بنخاطب الدكتور ميلاد، وبنودي لك حتى الايميل تبع الدكتور ميلاد عشان تودي له انت من عندك ايميل، واحنا بنتابع معه.
خلاص
تمام ممتاز.
هسه بنبعث لك ايميل مباشره، نبعث لك ايميل الدكتور ميلاد اللي هو في لاري بيشتغل مع الدكتور ميشيل إفرام.
اوكي
وميلاد نشيط يعني، بعتقد بدبرنا بحدا ان شاء الله عاجلا على اساس يوم الاثنين نكون جاهزين.
ممتاز
باذن الله تعالى.
في انا ضفت الكوردينيتور بتاع البايودايفرسيتي او جينيتيك ريسورس نتورك، اضفته برضه جينيتيك ريسورس نتورك.
طيب ما في مشكله ابدا، جاهزين.
ضفته برضه.
دكتور علي شحاده بالجينيتيك من لبنان.
نعم اي نعم.
بنخاطب احنا بنبعث
لك من لبنان ولا الاردن؟
من لبنان دكتور.
من لبنان.
على شحاده من لبنان.
معنا الدكتور خالد ابو ليلى. دكتور مره بعثت له ايميل.
ايوه خالد ابو ليلى كمان برضه.
انت بعثت له الدعوه، وهو حكى معي التليفون وحكى لي انه انا ضروري احضر. قلت له
ممتاز. تمام.
طيب بنبلغ الدكتور خالد انه ضروري يحضر ونخليه يبعث ايميل كمان.
خلاص اوكي. هو وصله الايميل دكتور.
ان شاء الله نبعث لميلاد ونبعث لدكتور خالد شحاده في لبنان، وحتى لو زاد معنا المشاركين ما عندنا مشكله،
ما في مشكله، ما في مشكله. نعم نعم،
ما في مشكله ان شاء الله.
تمام.
الله يبارك فيك ويسلمك.
تمام، ممتاز. شكرا لكم كثير، شكرا لكم. مرحبا، الله يخليك، الله يسلمك.
الله يبارك فيك. واذا في اي شيء ثاني احنا بدانا دكتور عادل قاعدين نبعث رسائل عشان الممبرشيب، فبدنا نبعث لك كمان.
أيوة
قطر
نعم.
يعني قطر شويه السنه الماضيه الشخص اللي اجى محل الدكتور المري مش مريح في تعامله، فبدنا بلكي كمان انت بعث له رساله.
نعم.
مره ثانيه بلكي انه قطر رجعوا يعملوا اشتراكات ان شاء الله. الله يبارك فيك
جدا.
الله يبارك فيك. تسلم.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. نشوفك ان شاء الله على خير يوم الاثنين باذن الله.
ان شاء الله.
مرحبا. بارك الله فيكم. تسلم. يا مرحبا.